Hello, my beautiful people of Earth. Come have a coffee with me, or tea, or whatever it is that your drink of choice. Today I would like to talk about yoga and Kundalini and how it's useful, what my experiences are, essentially. So, yoga is one of my favorite things. I have been practicing yoga since I was 15. I've had months that I've taken off for whatever reason. I've had months where I've been terribly unhealthy. But for the most part, yoga has been a constant in my life since I was a teenager. And I believe that in the West, we think of yoga as a form of exercise, and it's a wonderful form of exercise for the physical body. It is great for increasing your strength, your flexibility, your balance. It's very pretty. To watch somebody do yoga who is adept at it is amazing. Like, what a beautiful flow. But not everyone understands what yoga really was intended for. A lot of people who do yoga sometimes do get health benefits from it, but it would be much more beneficial for the people who are doing yoga to understand that the purpose of it is to yoke. Yoga means to yoke, to integrate and create wholeness in the body and merge the body with the spirit and merge life with the body and life with the spirit. And it's oneness. It's about oneness and merging with life, with spirit, with the shadow. And the other thing that people would really benefit from is understanding that yoga is a way of incorporating certain qualities into everyday life, into the self, in order to deal with everyday life, in order to be the best self. So if you're practicing postures in yoga that increase and improve your balance, then that is something that spills over into your everyday life and is supposed to or will help you to be more balanced in your everyday life. If you're practicing postures that increase your strength, same thing, it improves your strength. So doing yoga every day is a way of merging body and spirit so that you are kind of doing like a moving meditation and taking the meditation outside of just sitting, so that you, or laying down, or however it is that you meditate, so that you embody it, you embody spirit. And this is my understanding of yoga after practicing for so long and doing a little bit of reading, but more my knowledge comes from just my own experience, or my experience of it comes from my experience. I do know like a little bit about the history, but not much. But what I've noticed in my own life, in my own yoga practice, is that it's true. I've been doing a ton of balancing postures, and my life is becoming much more balanced. Last summer, I think, my life was incredibly not balanced. So much so that I was like frazzled and just unable to deal properly with things that were going on in my life. Things felt way out of whack. And without even realizing that I was doing it, I started doing more balancing postures. They just started happening naturally. It's what I was attracted to doing. And I was doing these balancing postures and getting better at them. And then there became more balance in my life. And then I noticed, I'm doing all these balancing postures and getting good at them, and my life is becoming more balanced. How interesting. The other thing that yoga does, and the reason for yoga, according to a lot of people, is actually to raise the Kundalini energy. So no matter what kind of yoga it is, Kundalini yoga, Hatha yoga, power yoga, whatever kind of yoga you practice, the whole point is to raise the Kundalini energy. And when you are meditating, a lot of times people will go into spontaneous yoga positions. They call them kriyas. And these aren't necessarily traditionally yoga postures. Like, I've never suddenly gone into downward dog when I was meditating, or stood on my head, or whatever. Some people do, but more often these kriyas, these spontaneous yoga postures, are things that you wouldn't think of as yoga postures. They're just head movements and arm movements, and maybe your spine will arch, or you'll start twisting. They're bodily movements. And Kundalini yoga puts a lot of this into practice. There's a lot of head movements back and forth. There's a lot of breathing in Kundalini yoga. I mean, you have the yoga breath, which is part of every yoga practice, but in Kundalini especially, there's all these locks and different ways of tensing different muscles to move the energy around. And that naturally happens when you've been meditating for a long time. You'll notice that, like, you'll start breathing in a different way. You'll start breath of fire, which is like breathing quickly in and out through your belly, sort of. There's more to it than that, but or you'll suddenly let out all of your breath, and then you just suspend the breath, and it takes a while to breathe back in. And that naturally happens when you're meditating for long periods of time, for over weeks or months or whatever. They call those kriyas, spontaneous kriyas. There's also kriya yoga, which is just doing that on purpose. But they say that Kundalini yoga came about because out of observance of these spontaneous kriyas happening, kind of like reverse engineering. Oh, a lot of people that have these spontaneous kriyas are holding their breath, and they're sharing their experience, and they're saying that their muscles tensed in certain ways. And 10 people have said this, so let's write that down and make it part of a practice. The energy of Kundalini is extremely intelligent, and it wants to remove all the blocks from your body, from your soul, from your life. It wants purity. It wants you to be the cleanest, clearest vessel through which God can operate. That's my understanding of Kundalini. That's what I feel as it's been raising in my life. I feel like I want to be pure so that God can work through me. The yoga postures help that energy to flow. They clear the blocks through just holding the postures, but they also prepare the body for the kriyas that will occur during meditation, for the spontaneous body movements. They prepare you so that you can do those kriyas, so that the energy can move through you. Because if you've been meditating for months at a time, and for hours in each meditation center, and these kriyas, these spontaneous body movements happen to you, the energy wants to move, but it won't hurt you. If you have never done a back bend and the energy needs to bend your back, you won't be able to do it physically. And the Kundalini won't force you. It will just not bend your back because it doesn't want to hurt you. It's life affirming, life enhancing. So another reason for the yoga practice is to prepare the body for the energy to move more freely. So I think that yoga is very helpful in raising the Kundalini. I don't necessarily believe that it's essential. I think there have been people who have had Kundalini awakenings and Kundalini experiences and have been able to be spiritual and raise their Kundalini without any yoga practice. And maybe even while they were physically unhealthy. But the yoga eases the Kundalini journey. And it makes it more tolerable. Throughout history, there have been cultures who don't do yoga who surely raised Kundalini, who had spiritual awakenings, and they were fine and great and healthy. But for me, yoga is an essential part of my Kundalini raising. It eases my journey. It helps the energy to integrate into my life, into my physical, mundane reality, which is important because the Kundalini energy is addicting. I will tell you that. And it can be something that you want to feel and experience. So it can be really easy to get into meditating a lot and needing to feel the Kundalini energy moving while you're meditating, so you'll want to meditate all the time. That's not cool because it takes you away from life, and you're not meditating every day to get better at meditating. You're not meditating every day to meditate all day. You're meditating every day and into the practice of meditating in order to bring your best self to the world, in order to clear out the blocks so that you're not an asshole, and to, of course, be in touch with the divine. But people meditate for a lot of different reasons, but meditating to get good at meditating so that you can escape reality is just like drinking or drugging. And I have to be mindful of that myself because I love the feeling that I get when I'm meditating. It's amazing, and I wouldn't give it up for the world, but I can get lost in it, and I can get like where I want to meditate all day and I don't want to do anything else, and then my life falls apart. That's addiction. So yoga helps you to bring the Kundalini energy into your daily mundane life so that you're not spending all day meditating in order to achieve that. And it's also a great workout, power yoga especially, or even hatha yoga. All the forms of yoga get your body moving, and moving is great. Anyway, so that's my take on yoga and Kundalini rising. I hope it was helpful, or that you can relate, or maybe you have a point that you'd like to bring up, or your own experiences. I'd love to hear them. Please comment below or email me. I love to share, and I love to be shared with. I just want to get a conversation started here, so I'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe because you're awesome and I'm awesome, and why not be awesome together? All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.